Students complain about how hard studying is. They have so much to learn and so little time for it. Their complaints are not groundless. College can be really tough. Studies suggest that most college undergraduates have a poor understanding of which study tactics are most effective and routinely prepare for tests using inefficient learning strategies. So, even when students think they're studying effectively, the methods they're using are actually not as useful as they believe it to be. In this video, we will be discussing the 5 common mistakes students make, and we will give some tips on how to avoid them. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more videos. Here are the 5 common mistakes students make. The first is having negative mindset. Please remember that all starts in the mind. Every thought leads to an action that is created in the mind and manifested through our action. The mind is everything. What you think, you become, Buddha said. If we change our negative thinking into positive thinking, we can change our lives for the better. This principle applies also to your studies, study habits, or study techniques. For example, you are not good in math, so you always think that you will fail because you think you are not good at it. If this is you, you should change your mindset as soon as possible. Such thoughts are dangerous. They can demotivate and affect your study performance. Since you think you will fail, the chances are you will no longer study or you will no longer give your best in studying. What's the point of studying anyway if you will fail eventually? The correct approach is to always say to yourself, I can do it, I will pass, or I will graduate. Even if things are looking rather grim, why think pessimistic? There's so many things you can't control, including the difficulty of the test or the questions you will have to answer. However, there are some factors you do control: your attitude, effort, and dedication. Second, being a social media junkie. Technology can be very helpful when studying, but it is just as likely to be detrimental due to the limitless distractions of smartphones and the internet. This happens when you study while texting your friends, checking 5 different social media tabs, listening to loud music, or worse, watching Netflix, and looking at your phone every 5 seconds as it buzzes away on your desk. Short videos are not so short when you've watched 100 of them. Social media gaming can go on for hours. The only solution here is to shut it down. Turn off your phone. Don't use the internet unless absolutely necessary, and minimize background noise. Without the distractions, you may find it easier to concentrate and be more productive. It is easy to say, but hard to do, right? But with the right discipline, it will be eventually. Third, studying alone. Let us categorize this. First, you physically study alone, that is, in solitude, alone in your own room, for example. And second, you socially study alone, This means no interactions from others. If you prefer to physically study alone, this is okay. I, for one, prefer to be alone in a place where I want to study. Advantages of studying alone are that it minimizes distraction, allows you to pace yourself, and can improve your focus. When you are by yourself, distraction is minimized due to the lack of other interaction you have other than with your schoolwork. However, there is a problem when you socially study alone. However, there is a problem when you socially study alone. This happens when you refuse to ask anyone else for help. Studying on your own is fine, but having people you can bounce ideas off can be very helpful. Most importantly, take advantage of your professors and try to reach them if you're confused about something. You won't regret it. I'll give an example. When I was in law school, I used to study alone at home or at the library. But whenever I encountered difficult concept, I would ask my classmates or my wife, who was my senior in school. I will only engage my classmates in a conversation when I'm on a break or when I'm done with my readings. Fourth, relying on your teachers too much to prepare you. Some students are unwilling to work. They want to be spoon-fed. Spoon-feeding is basically treating your student like a baby, a blank mind that needs to be filled with the teacher's knowledge. That is why many students assume that they will be prepared for the test as long as they go to class, attend the teacher's exam review sessions, and look over the study guides teachers have handed out. The materials your teacher provides are a great clue about what they think is important to know for the exam. So, they can be a great starting place. But just being present for the review sessions and looking over the study guide is not enough to guarantee that you will do well on the exam. If you really want to do well, you need to take responsibility for ensuring that you truly understand the material. Study more and not just what the teacher or professor provides. For example, in law school, we are trained to read ahead before going to class. This is because the professor will conduct more recitations than him or her discussing the topic. This is for him or her to test whether you understand what you have read. We end up reading more than what is written in the syllabus since we don't know what will be the professor's series of questions. The point is, not relying too much to your professor will give more benefits to you than harm. Lastly, memorizing rather than understanding. I frequently see students who have been studying trying to memorize it all, rather than truly understanding the underlying concepts. Memorizing can work well in some classes, especially in elementary and middle school, but it often backfires in more advanced classes. If you memorize a definition but don't really understand what it means, then as soon as the information is presented in a slightly different format, or you've asked to apply it to a new type of problem, you will have no idea how to proceed. Rather than memorizing the information from your classes, use study strategies that encourage you to understand it. Explaining ideas out loud in your own words or teaching them to someone else are great examples of study strategies that promote understanding. What we have learned so far: 1. Avoid having negative mindset. 2. Don't be a social media junkie. 3. Studying alone. 4. Relying on your teachers too much. And 5. Memorizing rather than understanding. Which of these mistakes do you remember making when you were a student, or you are doing right now? Of course, everyone is unique and different people swear by different study methods. Spend some time trying out different methods and figure out what works for you. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe and share this video so others may benefit from it too.